Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Haloyam La, Adonai Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shah, Malak Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, peace I teach you the hopeful elect, Haba Yashah, Malak Labadah, the house of King David, and to the future of faces that look like these heathen nations, but their identity goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Elohim, Joseph, Selah, Shalom. And the title of this video is going to be Eve is a hellhound, or in parentheses, a bitch for Esau. So, pretty much like, I'm going to go into the etymology of some of those words, and, we'll get into a little bit of etymology, go into a little, show you a little analogy of how Eve is, and bring out a couple scriptures. I don't know to tell y'all can be edified. Because this relationship that Esau and Eve had was basically 6,000 years ago, ever since in the Garden of Eden as a serpent, and they, these Eves out here, they've been, especially the so-called black woman, they've been beguiled by the serpent. That's the first woman that caused us to die. Ecclesiastes 25 says so. She was the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. That's why a lot of times, that's why they have birth pains, because of their foremother Eve went off. And in the Garden of Eden, they have been beguiled by Eve has been beguiled by the serpent, and they're still being beguiled to this day. So it's like, the scriptures say that nothing is new under the sun in Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter. I believe that's where it is. But it tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes that nothing is new under the sun, There's no new thing under the sun. So the same things that you see of the past is going to happen again, but it's just different time periods, but just the same story playing out over and over again. And, pretty much we see that the relationship with Esau and Eve, and that's the thing about these women. Every time we've been breaking our backs in every captivity, these women have always been uplifted. And the funny thing is, when there's a time when the Most High is causing affliction, who gets damaged the most? The woman. So same way they get uplifted and they get exalted highly because of their, their body and all this other shit. Because, usually these heathens, they're not really meant to rule. They're not really meant to be in rulership, because they look at a woman as a queen, They look as a woman as there should be equal to a man. And, and even when it's coming to like, this Roman bullshit, they look at these women as if they, as if a guy is supposed to actually have one woman for his whole life. That's the Queen of Heaven spirit, and that's that, that bullshit. And if anything, we're supposed to actually have multiple women, because that's a blessing, That's actually a that's a blessing. That's one of the rewards that the Most High is going to give his men, in the time of Jacob's trouble, when he delivers us out of it. And even in the kingdom, it's going to be further, that blessing is going to be further increased, along with riches and stuff. But without further ado, let's get some more scriptures. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Yeah. And then that's when you learn about how these women are. That's why you see in red pill communities, they will tell you, that you will see MGTOW, Idmore, SYSBM. Idmore is Introspective Black Men of Reform. SYSBM is Save Yourselves Black Men. So it's really harder on the Southern Kingdom, especially the Judite tribe. It's really harder for us men in the Southern Kingdom, that we go through this type of affliction more than any of these other Jakes in the 12 tribes, and especially more than the heathens and stuff. But even the heathens, they go through some shit and affliction with their women too, because of this feminism bullshit. And then when you look at it, when you look deeper into it, the red pill community, they tell you it's their self, like, these women are toxic. And then they were mostly shamed, like, they mostly tell you about how the black woman is, like how they're the worst, to date, and it's true. The black woman is the worst to date, because this is a self-hating bitch that want to see the worst for her man. She don't want to see the best for her man, because if she did, she would be a supporter of this truth. She's an enemy. That's why they have to be fucking Micah 7 and 10. And when you go into Proverbs, the 2nd chapter, it will tell you that let me see. Proverbs second chapter verse 16 says to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger with flattery with her words, which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her Yahweh. Yeah, of her God, I meant. So like it. For her house inclineth unto death, and her path unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the path of life. So when you look at this scripture in this it goes both ways. It could tie with like wicked woman, right? Especially of our nation, and it could also tie with what you call it, with like strange philosophies, because when you into like false philosophies, which most of our people are into, 2/3, that's going into the strange woman, and these false philosophies, they're meant for the heathens to believe. Originally our people are supposed to be in the truth, but 2/3 they're not going to hearken, so it's only meant for the elect right now. But the part that I want to look at the actual part where it's talking about the actual woman. Like when you go to these women's houses and stuff like that, they have all these type of images of Caesar Borgia, Jesus Christ. They want to try to you know basically have a so-called white man as their god, and it's spiritual because when you look into it, the serpent, which is Esau, he beguiled Eve, and Eve was basically in an entangled relationship with them. It's like she's fucking around with the serpent for so long, she forgot who her God is, and she they don't care about who their God is, and they don't care about about this truth at all. And they want to put so much hell upon their own men. The scriptures of Proverbs 7 chapter says, "Let not thine heart decline to her ways." Exactly, don't get degraded to her degeneracy, her degenerate level. And it says, "Go not astray in her paths." So, when you're looking at a lot of these women, they take on the role of the strange woman, basically, in a spiritual sense, in a way of like they believe in false philosophies. These women actually believe in that feminist bullshit, and that's actually meant to destroy them. So them holding the fists up of Gloria Steinem, that Edomite bitch, basically, who had her fist was up with this other this other Judite woman. And that's basically like Eve's her relationship with the serpent race of of all these other heathen nations. Like that's their and the serpent race is actually representing Esau. you know he's which is the top of the heathen nations, for right now, because of their position and their role and power. And these women are basically in unionship with Esau, that relationship. you know and very soon these women are going to realize that you being in union with Esau, that Bonnie and Clyde relationship, that do and die, that relationship where you want to basically risk, you know, your life being with Esau. Don't worry, in these end times, you know, he's gonna what you call it? He's gonna reject you, and he's gonna divorce you. And like the scriptures say, who shall pity a charmer that's bitten by a serpent? He gonna, if you tarry with, they said it, when you fall, he's not gonna care about you, you know. And it says, "For she have cast down many wounded, yeah, many strong men have been slain by her." Spiritually, in the spiritual sense, her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. Exactly. And when you look at these women, what they do, they stress you out. They're so hell bent, and bringing you into their hell and into their gates of hell, and they stress you out. They put hell upon their men. Their man could be injured from work, and they're talking a whole bunch of shit. He comes home from working, breaking his back, basically helping the family out, doing whatever he can, and then next thing you know, he come home to seeing that his wife is not there, screwing around with another man, going to a hotel to get popped by another man, or basically coming home to seeing her committing adultery in his own house. And most of the times, they give the house to, when the woman marries you, she have nothing to bring to the table, but her dirty ass box between her legs that she can't even clean right, because women are supposed to take baths, and a lot of them don't even do that. They don't take baths, and then they don't use oils to rub down there. They don't, they don't take baths daily as they should, and it's like they don't even know how to clean their ass right. So they stink. And that's the thing, and that's what feminism allows them to do, because they think that they're just, they're supposed to take on the role of a man, and that's disgusting. They're not supposed to do that. So let's go into to another scripture that comes to my mind, talking about how these women, how they in union with Esau. And it says right here, First Timothy the 5th chapter, telling you how women are supposed to be. Let me see. It says, but the younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax wanton against Hamashiach, they will marry, have a damnation, because they cast off their first faith. And when you look at women, they're not really as faithful as the man, when it's coming to the men and its truth. So that's why, that word feminine, phi is faith, and min is like minus, the faith, and it says, and withal they learn to be idle, wandering about house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers also, and busybodies, speaking things they ought not. Exactly. And it says, verse 15, here's the kicker right here. For some already turned aside after Satan. Yep. And that's the thing right there, and when you look at the Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, he has like a hold of these women basically too, because it's like, your mind is where that's where the spirit dwells, and these women are given onto their lust, so they use their body. So then you will see Esau, which is a physical counterpart of spiritual demon Satan. He will liberate these women with feminism, because how you destroy a man, you basically liberate his woman. And and then next thing you know, you'll see the legitimacy rates going up, because it's going up in the black communities mainly, and then black and Spanish communities is basically suffering legitimacy, and and for the most part, the Southern Kingdom is going through that more than the Northern Kingdom, and then because the oppression is higher on us, and then it's like, even in Esau's community, these things are happening to him too, because when you look at these Edomites, and whatever you do to the black man is gonna go right back to you, you stupid motherfuckers. So y'all gonna go through the same shit. But it's just that the elites, they're not going through this because they have complete order in their family, because they don't have a let's say they're not really influenced by the media as our people are, so they don't really have care for those things. They're the ones that fund this whole world, and all the madness that goes on in this earth. These elites like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and so on and so forth, and these other family bloodlines of the Illuminati. They don't have to go through these things. But the Rockefellers even mentioned that they funded feminism to basically allow women to work. And when you allow women to work and you give women the liberation, they are going to basically, they're weaker vessels, and they know that. And what they're going to do is, when the woman is like liberated, she decides to basically revolt against her man. And when a man doesn't have a woman that supports him, and he's over here, and they over here with this feminism and allow men to be simps, they're not teaching men to basically fight against that. And that's what destroys the man. And a lot of women don't understand that. And let me get out another scripture. And it tells you in Proverbs 21 verse 19, it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. Exactly. Because it will basically be in your mind, in your spirit, to just basically knock the bitch out whenever she basically puts hell upon you, when she puts you through a lot of adversity, and then she basically decides to be what you call it, contentious. She basically decides to be annoying and always like fussing and complaining, talking shit. That makes you want to punch a woman in the face, especially when she tries to act like she could fight you. But now, when it's coming to feminism, it's like they have like servants like the government. They got the police on their side, and they don't understand these police are getting defunded now, so y'all gonna lose your protection too. That's why you see domestic violence cases are rising, because there's no more police, and these men are starting to fight back. You got a lot of men that's actually starting to fight back with you, wicked ass woman. You putting men on child support. You taking away their seed, their own children. Yeah, And men is the one that plant. We carry the seed all this time, you know. You women, when y'all start carrying the children, y'all just started carrying the seed that's planted in y'all. That's our seed, you know. We're the sowers. You're just the soil. Y'all gotta understand that. And that's your lot to raise children anyway, and to bring children to this earth, you fucktards. A lot of y'all don't even want to do that. And y'all can't even do that right. Because the scripture said your house inclineth unto death. You know, most of you women, that's how it is. That's why even Solomon said in Ecclesiastes 7 chapter, you know, if I'm right, if it's verse 27, 28, he was saying that, you know, his soul seeketh, but he can't find. One woman among 1,000 have he, one man among 1,000 have he found, but a woman among those 1,000 he have not found. And the funny thing is, back then, women had a more sense, you know, than these women now. They were cleaner back then. They know how to clean themselves. They were serving their man back then. But he said, nah, y'all women are wicked as hell. You know, still. He still felt like that. And he still felt like he could go around and find at least one righteous man out of 1,000. But you woman, you wicked ass bitches, you can't find not even one righteous woman. So your chances of finding 1,000 and 1,000 women, you most likely gonna find 0 being righteous. And it's like, you probably gotta find maybe 100,000 more to at least find one righteous woman. That's probably how it is. That's why the Lord said, he even said the man make, you know, Yahweh have made man upright, you know. And what you call it, it says right here, let me see, a continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Exactly. And that's beautiful, because I find it very beautiful to understand that a lot of you women are, you know, basically y'all are just alike, you know. Like a very rainy day, it's, you know, you put affliction upon your man. That's why scripture say, Ecclesiastes 25 and 16, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. Exactly. You know, most of you women are so wicked, it's like you put hell upon your man, you stress your man out, and it's like, you know, your man can't get a peace in mind, you know. That's why some men go and they rather go to jail just to kill y'all asses. Eventually they're starting to fight back, you know. The Lord is starting to put evil spirits within their minds to basically like to knock you asses out, you know. And you're starting to see more of that. You women getting ran over by cars, getting acid thrown at y'all face, and, you know, men, you know, killing y'all and then burning y'all up. It's judgment, and it's beautiful to you wicked ass bitches. Since y'all want to be adulterers, y'all want to be whores, y'all don't want to hearken unto this word, guess what? You get judgment by the Heavenly Father, and he's setting these death angels up to do so. So let's go into etymology of the term hellhound. Alright, so when you see hellhound, it says a wicked person, agent of hell. You know, like in Marvel, you have agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And, well, we have an agent of hell, and that's Eve. And look at this term, Old English HellHound. Let's look that up. Oh, Slakia. What it meant to say, not bright dog. It goes to this, like, you know, HellHound is another word for hellhound. So yeah, and it goes into the word hellhound. It's a mythical watchdog of hell, you know, or a wicked person, and that's basically Eve. She's a wicked ass bitch. And it goes into tell you that, like, the word Cerberus, right? So now when you look at that word, wait, search that up. Cerberus is often referred to as the hound of Hades, and Hades is like the god of the underworld. It says it is a multi-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead from leaving. Exactly. And then when you look into it, in a spiritual sense, you know, that represents Eve in a way, because she makes sure that she takes away, she wants to keep you enslaved, you know. It's spiritual, you know. Eve, these wicked ass women, they want to keep you enslaved to their Section 8, you know. I mean, no, it's lucky their child support and alimony. They want to keep you enslaved to the system. So that's why when you go and marry women as by way of the system, you know, which they don't understand this world, that sex is marriage. But, you know, they want to have you to marry the woman, and she wears the stupid ass veil with the with the bride dress and saying "Here comes the bride" or that other song, acting like she's pure, wearing a white clothing. That fucking white clothing is meant to show you all the sperm that she had from her previous partners all inside her, and God knows if you even put it inside her, if you even had a chance or not, and you just married her. Because some men, they don't even have a chance to even put it inside her, and then they claim that they're married to her, and then she using her body as a weapon against you to act like she don't have to give it to you, and you married this bitch, and you paying this bitch things for her and stuff like that, and she out here doing her wickedness. It's disgusting. And Hades is like that represents Esau, and I'll do a separate lesson for that. That Esau is a harbinger of death, but right now I'm focusing on Eve. She's like a guardian for Esau, like a servant, and these women, and and it's like Esau, he puts these women, because this is like, we're already catching hell, and these women are meant to put us through further hell. They're meant to further our affliction. So when you marry these women, like Apostle Gabar said, you having a second slave owner, and that's like these women, especially of our nation, because they're so wicked. They're meant to basically, and they have multi personalities, because they get popped they play the cock carousel game, so they get multiple personalities, so that multiple heads represent the conflict that's within them. Spiritually, they have demons on them. When you have multiple personalities, you got one minute you act like this, the next day you act like this, and then she claims she love you, the next thing she hates you. She got different spirits in her. She's a demon. And if you look up that term microchimerism, that's going into, like, I did a separate lesson for that, like how women basically, how they have DNA, male DNA from their previous partners, and that's literally going into like this. And I showed the video about it. Even I think I put Apostle Gabar's link of his video, like, about it too, about how these women, they basically have their previous, like, sex partners and stuff, and even when they have children, whatever, their characteristics from their previous sex partners get traveled down to their children, which is called telegony. So these women are polluted, they're disgusting, for the most part. A lot of the times they scriptures will tell you in Ecclesiastes 7:26, in the book of Sirach 7:26, it will say that a woman is an extension of a man, and when you look at these whores and these harlots, they're like extensions of their previous men, and all that spirits that's in them that's polluted. It's so disgusting. It's like they basically having conflict with their self, because they don't know who their real self is, and in the time they reach the age of 30 or 40, that's when they want to settle, their late 20s, early 30s or 40s, that's when they want to settle down, and that's when they want to get with a man. And it's like, and at that point, it's too late. You already look like a nasty fat blob, look like Jabba the Hutt, or either you skinny and you just look old and wrinkly, all aged out, like a damn one of those Star Wars, ugly aliens. And then, what you call it? Or, and pretty much your fucking nasty crotch between your legs look like a damn chewed up bubble gum. It look all nasty inside out. It's not even tight as it's supposed to be. That's when you want to settle down. Yeah. If a man can't have you at his best, he don't deserve you at your worst. Because if anything, you did the worst to yourself. And that's why they will say, men age like wine, and women age like, like milk. Because men could be in their late 20s, their late 30s, even their late or early 40s, and yet they will still pull women from at the younger ages. Men could still be in their prime at their 40s. They could look good. They could, take care of themselves. And it's meant for a man to have multiple women, because it's not going to affect a man like mentally that, he popped this woman, he popped that woman. He's going to feel accomplished. He's going to feel relieved, for popping a woman, But you women out there that get popped by this man and that man, that will kind of feel a little messed up if y'all doing it with multiple men, and knowing that damn well you're only supposed to be doing it with one man, you know? That's why your act all bugged out. So no matter what websites that say that, oh, those shits are not true, those things are not true, it tells you in the scriptures that you shall be one flesh as the man that, pretty much that cleaves unto you and, obviously pops you. And it already says you're an extension of that man too. Exactly. So his DNA is all being transferred through you. Even if he's wearing a condom, he popped you. So let's go into more scriptures. Oh, before I get to scriptures, I found some good, terms. They're also like a Hellcat in a way, where it will show you, like, it says a volatile woman. When you look up the word volatile, it shows their moods change often quickly, so basically, they're unstable in the mind, let's just look up the word volatile at itself. Tending to erupt into violence, explosive. Exactly. And that's how these women are, but for the most part, it's best to say, a hellhound, because they're a bitch, and they're also hell raisers as well, because like, look, to raise hell is to create a ruckus, and that's what happened in their homes, So our scripture said, you'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon, because we want to be with a person that wants to create ruckus, that wants to make the house live in hell. My mother was doing that to a certain extent, until she lost her place and got evicted, and then it took her 2 years to like and a half to get another place, and she was living by my sister, and my sister was kind of, putting her through a little bit of the hell, and she had to realize that, and then me and my older brother, we had to be by my dad's crib with my grandfather. We was kind of catching a little bit of hell over there too, because we was just tired of being in that. It was like a fucking 1 bedroom, and basically my older brother had to share like a living room with with our dad, and then I had to share the room with my dirty grandfather, and his bedroom, and it's like he was going through some hell over there too. So yeah. And then mom knows she can't really try that shit, because for the most part I have this truth, so she hates it so much, so it's like she know damn well she not to fuck with me. And when you actually look into HellHound, they will tell you a supernatural dog in folklore. A wide variety of ambinuous or hellish supernatural dogs occur in mythologies around the world. They say they have black long fur, glowing red eyes, super strength and speed. Well, for the most part, they have a foul odor. And when you look at these nasty, sneaking bitches around you that are toxic as hell, that act like, feminists, that act like they're supposed to, have a man beneath their dirty ass feet. They acting like a man is supposed to basically, worship them and serve them with their dirty, and put their fucking dirty, stinking ass pussy on a pedestal that has been contaminated with all of the men's sperm inside them. They're acting like they're supposed to be above this world, and they have a foul odor. They fucking stink as hell. Let's get out some more scriptures. It tells you, that's why scriptures will say, like, a wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darken of her countenance like sackcloth. And it says, her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, it shall sigh bitterly. Exactly. He gonna be upset, Probably might even talk to some of his neighbors about, how his woman is like stressing him out and stuff like that. That's why scriptures tell you, though that they have wives, be as though they had none, because it don't feel like you have a real woman, because a real woman is supposed to support you in the stuff that you do, because even when you have a woman in your life, there's studies that actually show that your testosterone levels were lower when you're married, because it's like you're doing so much for the woman. It's like you become feminized. That's why even in the red pill community, MGTOW and stuff like that, they will look at men that's married, they'll say, oh, those are manginas, and they feel like, in a way, this society has been pushing marriage for so long. It's like it's not good to even marry a woman in a feminist type of society, because you're going to be so made to basically please her that she's basically not really going to care that much about you. But in these end times, when it's coming to the point where these women are going to be trying to seek a righteous man, and they're going to be doing whatever it takes to be with that man, and that's the time that it would be best to get a woman at that time, and that's when the Lord is going to set it up for His men to basically get women during that time, and they're going to be chasing after us. We're not going to be doing the chasing. They're going to be the new simps. And it says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Exactly. So no matter how much wickedness a nigga could do in the street, in the hood, all that is little to a woman. And most of these women, they the ones that what you call it? They set up the wickedness. They what you call it? They like these niggas are like fucking bounty hunters for these bitches. These simp ass niggas. These bitches say all these bitches gotta do. They don't even have to pay these niggas. They cry and say, "Oh, he hit me. Oh, my ex-boyfriend. He did this and that for me. He exposed me. He sent this pictures of me and this and that." Sometimes they can even lie and get your ass beaten. They can lie, get you beat up. They shed a tear and lie about what you did. And, or if you defended yourself and they put their hands on you, knowing damn well they hit you first in your face and try to punch you in your face like a man, and you knock this shit out of them to the point where they fall down and start bleeding and crying, and they deserved it. That's when they want to get the police on you, and then after the police, they want to try to get their simps on you, or one or the other, and sometimes they try to get both if possible. So these women are really protected, wicked ass bitches. It says, as the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. Exactly. Who wants to take house? That's why I tell you, it's better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than to keep house of the wicked woman. It tells you that, I think, in the book of Proverbs. But it says, a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. So it tells you, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desiring her not for pleasure. Exactly, because she's only desiring to for you to please her with that money that you got, that income that you're making. These bitches could be nasty as hell, living in shitty ass apartments, shitty ass living conditions, and then what they'd be like, "Oh, I'm not dating a nigga unless he have $100,000 a year. I'm not dating a nigga unless he fucking have a car. He gotta have money for my bills." Like, who the fuck you think you are? And it tells you, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Exactly. These wicked ass women, all they're just made for is just to stress a man out. They're not really made to serve their man. They're bitches. Exactly. Servants of Esau, servants of death, servants of hell. That's what they are. They're not servants of life. They're not servants of men. Because a woman is in the scripture, they're supposed to be a pillar of rest, not no pillar of goddamn stress. They're supposed to be a help to the man. That's why the Most High said to Adam, about Adam, let me make Adam a woman. Let me make him Eve a help. Exactly. Y'all not supposed to be fucking, the way y'all are, which is nasty and wicked. Y'all supposed to be helpers of the man. All y'all are just nothing but damn demons trying to look like a Edomite woman. Look so damn stupid. And then when you look at this too, like Gloria Steinem and Dorothy, what's her name? Dorothy Pittman Hughes. They were the same women that, that were basically in union, like in league together, like with feminism, with this feminist power. And feminism, basically, it did start in 1848, like, that said it, that's the first, but it really wasn't bad at all back then. It was like nothing. You probably wouldn't even notice it. But then in the early 19th century, it started pretty much gaining a little popularity. I'll say probably like in the 1960s, but the early 20th century, just, over time, it just got worse and worse, and that's the thing about Esau. He does things, in a way, he kind of starts it up, he sets it up, and it's like, he tries to get everybody's approval for it, and then it's like, he tries to show, that women are going through a lot of bad things. Esau's like a devil. He tries to make the righteous things look bad and makes the good things look, evil, and make the evil things look good, and acting like it's for the right of the people. Women are made to be ruled. They were made to serve the man because they can't think by themselves, and they're going to see that in these end times when, But yeah, these two bitches, basically the Edomite bitch, one from the serpent seed line and one from the Israelite tribe of Judah, working together to basically cause and and it would tell you, like Gloria Steinem, she's like, some brothers shared it out on Instagram that she made the feminism, she was a supporter of feminism to basically destroy the black community. That's what the bitch said. But like feminism again, it's what you call it, yeah, like I was saying in 1960, 70, like that was pretty much like the second wave of it. And then it's like over time it started getting worse and worse. And then that's why, like, when we see like how these bitches, they get worse and worse over time, it's like they every year you might think like, oh, when I was younger, dating females like wasn't as bad as it got over the years, as I got older. Basically, over the years in high school, as you see the degeneracy is starting to, like, be running rampant, it's like you start to realize that a lot of these women are really just getting worse over the years, and they're just waxing worse and worse, as the scriptures say, as the wicked are, waxing worse and worse. It says, a harlot shall be counted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband, especially when she's sincere, And it's ultimately said, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. So exactly. So you see all these niggas, these tender dick simp ass niggas, let them get the wicked woman. They're attracted to wickedness anyways, and all they're gonna do is have a relationship, of a cesspool of wickedness anyway. And it tells you, Ecclesiastes 26 verse 25, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. What's a dog? A fucking bitch. And that's what these fucking shameless women are. A bitch. That's what they are. Most High said use a bitch. But with that, I'll end it on there. Hope I made the lesson edifying. To give all glory, praise, and honor to Adonai Yahweh, Bashem Shamalak Yahushua, Bashem Kakadash, to bonus of the apostles and elders, great millstone, peace, I teach, hope for let. Yahweh Bashem Yashar, Shalak Riyam, Adawam Yam Wa, Ababa Bo, Shalom.